Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we use intersectional feminism, mindfulness, leadership, and strategy to support smart women to change the world without anxiety, insecurity, and burnout. On the show, we challenge the status quo and support you to unlearn harmful messages that keep you playing small so you can activate your superpowers and live with joy, confidence, and ease. I'm your host, Giovanna Rossi. Hello, Well Women. Welcome back to the show. And for those of you who are new, I want to give you a great big welcome. You are in the right place if you are looking for support to get through some challenges in your life, if you are wanting to grow in your leadership, if you want to have better conversations with people, and just in general, if you want to feel happier. So today we're going to talk about resilience and what it means to build resilience. And I'm going to give you 4 very specific things that you can take away today and go and actually implement right away to really build your capacity to respond to difficult situations, to return to happiness, to return to joy. You know, this week we're really diving into the uncomfortable places. But we're going to do this in a way that actually at the end of this, you will feel more empowered, more powerful, to go and do what you need to do to put the supports in place that you need to be resilient. Let's start with this idea that we've all been in emergency mode for many months now. And while we are in emergency mode, our body physically does different things. And we're sort of always on the edge, always on the verge of going into action, right? Taking action or protecting ourselves or our families, going into emergency mode. And what I want to invite you to do this week is to really settle into the idea that this is a long game, to embrace the tools that we have in the Well Woman community that will support you to be resilient, to be able to respond in the face of adversity. And if we look at the definition of resilience in the dictionary, it's really the ability to be happy again after something difficult has happened, or the capacity to recover from difficult life events. And so there's this sort of elasticity to resilience, right? It's whatever is thrown at me, whatever happens externally, I have the internal strengths and supports to be able to respond with grace, with compassion, with whatever it is I need. If I need, however I need to respond. So looking at the idea of resilience, there really are 4 things that we can focus on that will help us put some of those resiliency tools in place, so that when we're dealing with disappointment, when we're dealing with discomfort, when we're dealing with frustration, when we're dealing with uncertainty, that we don't just completely fall apart or kind of hide in those habits that can be really destructive or unhealthy for us. And so, as with everything that we do in the Well Woman community, this is a place for you to reflect on what's right for you. So this is not me saying anything about you should do this or you shouldn't do that. It's not a should conversation. It's a what do you need? And so that's the first of the 4 points that I'm going to share today is this idea of self-care that's actually different than what you might be thinking about self-care. It's not I'm just going to go have a bubble bath and go get a manicure, although those things can be nice things to do for yourself. When I talk about self-care, I'm really talking about getting your needs met. And so when we look at the Well Woman framework and we start with awareness, uh, what is it that you need? Like let's bring awareness to what you need. Um, and so being needy is very different from getting my needs met, right? So being needy can be like asking for help when you don't really know what you need, um, versus getting your needs met by articulating what you need and then asking for it. But in order to do that, we really have to do some reflection on what do I need? Like what will work for me? What looks like success for me in this particular situation? And so some of those things can include um, some very basic things, right? So we're talking about let's get the basics covered here. Let's make sure we're rested. So that means good sleep. Um, if you can do 8 hours a night, that's fantastic. Um, and also meditation or some kind of resting of your nervous system, right? So it doesn't have to be sitting on a cushion and being in a temple or something. It can actually be meditative activities like walking, like cooking, like dancing, these kinds of things that really um, support you to rest in a way that we don't rest when we're sleeping and we don't rest in other situations. So, a meditative activity really needs to be usually alone, I would say, definitely alone, and without any devices or inputs, right? Nothing coming at you, nothing that you're having to process. Some music is good, or a guided meditation is good. And so, really, like, look at your rest. Are you rested? And that's an area that will definitely help your resiliency. We'll be right back. I'm so thankful for support from High Desert Yoga, promoting optimum physical health, clarity of mind, and spiritual inspiration for all. You're invited to join me for a brand new monthly group experience over in the Well Woman Academy. This is a monthly group that includes access to the full 6-week course based on feminism, mindfulness, and the Well Woman Life Framework. It includes weekly groups coaching sessions with me, as well as office hours and a private Facebook group to share and grow. Don't get me wrong, this is hard work, but with these tools, you will easily find the time to do the course, get the coaching, and reach your goals monthly. If you find yourself worrying about whether you'll ever make it in the thing you're pursuing, waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety, lacking the energy you need to get everything done, stuck in some aspect of leading your team, procrastinating on moving forward with projects and tasks, or in a leadership role but second-guessing yourself constantly, I'd love to introduce you to the Well Woman Academy. It's for smart, high-achieving women changing the world who want to overcome anxiety, burnout, perfectionism, and insecurity. The result? You get to live your well woman life, a life of joy, ease, and abundance, even when things are tough all around you. Visit wellwomanlife.com/academy to learn more. We're back on the Well Woman Show. The next one here within this category of self-care is fuel. Are you fueling your body? What makes your body feel good? Are you reverting to foods and things that actually don't make your body feel good? And so it's tuning in and saying, what makes me feel good? And that could be nutrition, looking at your nutrition. And really, it's not about like restricting or going on a diet. I really don't buy into the sort of diet industry um, language. What I want to encourage you to do is really fuel your body with what makes your body feel good. So that's part of self-care. And then the final thing that I'll just touch on here is sweating. So sweat is a great thing, especially in times of adversity, challenge, frustration. When you move your body and when your body sweats, you release a lot of um, toxicity and you get things moving in a way that doesn't happen otherwise. So find find a way to sweat today that makes you happy. Like, is it jump roping? Is it um, dancing? Is it roller skating? Is it walking your dog? Is it yoga? Like, it can be any number of things if you do it rigorously enough to sweat at a level that is healthy for your body. Okay, second broad category is this idea of compassion. And I want you to just imagine the last time that you showed up for someone in your life with compassion. It could have been a friend in need, um, a colleague at work, your child. What was the situation you were in when you showed compassion for someone? And what did you tell them? What did you tell them when they came to you with their problem or their challenge? And what compassion did you have for them? And when you have that in your mind, I want you to then turn that to yourself and really experience that compassion as self compassion. How does that feel to be heard, to be listened to be understood, to not be judged? And how does it feel when you turn it on yourself and you have that self compassion? And this is a really important piece of the puzzle here because we so often are really kind of mean to ourselves, right? And again, it starts with awareness. Like, when do I do that? And then how can I stop myself and turn that into something that is more compassionate? So instead of like, I shouldn't have done that, I suck, it's awareness of that, and then saying you did your best. You know, you made a mistake. Um, you made a mistake. You are not the mistake, right? And then number three, the third broad category is one of my favorites: setting boundaries. And we have to set boundaries in all areas of our lives, right? And sometimes setting boundaries is about saying no. It's another one of my favorites. But we have to set boundaries in all areas of our lives, in our personal life, in our work life, in our, community life. Basically anything we're doing, you can always ask yourself, like, what's the boundary here? What do I want to accept here? Where am I willing to go with this? And a great thing to do is to really audit your inputs. And this really helps you control your outputs, right? So, audit your inputs is like, what am I taking in to my brain and my body? And you can start with media and look at what are the newspapers you're reading? What are the news sites you're following? What are you watching on TV? What is the social media you're bringing in? It might be time for a little break for some of those. But you don't know what to take a break with until you really audit, like, what am I putting into my body and my mind? And this can include the magazines you read, all of this. And so I would really suggest doing an audit, finding out what it is that you're allowing in. And this is a great way to then start having some kind of control over the output, right? The output meaning like how you show up in the world, what you say, what you say and do in the world, is very much determined by what you put into your body and your mind. And so that's just a little quickie here on starting to set boundaries. But I think the first thing to do is really to do that audit. Like, where and what are you letting in to your body and your mind? And then the last kind of broad category is support. So what supports do you have in place for the challenging times right now, or for a specific challenge that you're having? What supports do you have in place? I highly encourage you to set up systems of support, and they may be different for different challenges, right? So if you're anticipating something big happening, you know that it's going to be a challenge, you could set up some systems of support in advance by being very specific with your support system and saying, I have this thing coming up. Can you be like available over the next week? I might need some support. So articulating what you need, again, that's not needy. That's simply stating what you need and getting your needs met. What's needy is like, you weren't available. I've been trying to reach you. You don't understand. And so therefore it's over. Like that's more needy than getting your needs met, right? So um, definitely get some systems of support in place. Again, they might be different for different challenges you're having. So, what do those supports look like? What supports you? What feels like comfort for you? Um, and let's get those in place. That will definitely help your resilience and get out of emergency mode into long-term resiliency mode. So I hope that was helpful. Those are the four topics within resiliency that I wanted to share today. And if you want more on this, or to really learn more about it, practice more in a community, definitely check out the Well Woman Academy. I would love to see you in there. And have a beautiful, resilient, powerful week. And I'll see you next week. That's it for our show today. Remember, if you need support to live your Well Woman life, head over to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join our community. As a reminder, we are on NPR every week, so be sure to tune in at npr.org/podcasts and search for The Well Woman Show. If you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review. This helps raise visibility, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Well Woman Life. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.